Hi everyone, and welcome to Wildcard Wednesday, September 2nd, 2009. Well, I guess it's back to school time. By the time you watch this video, I would imagine most of the children are back to school and the teachers are all back to work. So for this card, I'm going to be using some elements from back to school to make a cute little card. So the first thing we're going to do is use some crushed curry cardstock, cut 5 1/2 and scored it 4 1/4 to make our card. I've used the Top Note die cut from Big Shot, and we're going to do one in basic black, one in ruby red. I'd like you to use some manila card tag. I'm using just this little tag here. I'm going to be punching it out and making a smaller tag, so you can use a piece of manila card folder or anything you have like that on hand. We're going to be using a torn piece actually from a lunch bag, any blue cardstock scrap that you have on hand, some twine, and we're going to be using a really cute little red apple brad. The inks that we're going to be using for this card are Ruby Red, Whisper White, and Chocolate Chip. And the stamp sets that we're going to be using are the boho backgrounds. We're going to be using this one here, this little tiny, looks like polka dots, but I think they're little flowers. And the Yummy stamp set. It has 3 stamps, and we're going to be using this part, A Little Something for You, and this one says With Love. I don't know if you can see that right there, that little heart. We're going to use those 2. The first thing we're going to do is to take the little flower background from the boho backgrounds and stamp it all over the card front in ruby red. You probably noticed that I got a little smudge right there on the card, but that's okay. I'm going to just take my ink pad and just pretend that that smudge is on purpose, and I'll ink all around the card. Going to ink the torn edge a little bit. So we've got a roughed up, kind of a shabby looking card here, and I love the lunch bag element. The next step, we're going to take our die cut pieces, the ruby red and the black, and the ruby red is going to be the border around the black, but first we have to trim off this little, where the dotted edge is there. We're going to trim all that away. Cut the black piece out so you can see how it fits perfectly inside of that ruby red label. So it just gives it a nice little thin mat around it. So before I glue it on, this is going to represent our chalkboard. I'm going to take some Whisper White ink and I'm going to stamp just this part of the stamp, A Little Something for You. Perfect. Now I'm going to take the white ink and I'm just going to ink all around the edges so it looks like a bit of a smudged up chalkboard. We're just going to put that aside to dry for a second. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our blue cardstock and the curly label punch, and we're going to punch out just a piece. We're going to place our punched out piece in there again. I don't know if you can see it, leaving a little, just a little bit from the edge, about 1/8 of an inch right there. I think I'm going to do it one more time. And what I have created are some parentheses. So I'm going to take those and glue them on either side of our sentiment, and I'll use a thin zig pin to adhere that. So there I have my parentheses glued down, although this one is a little crooked, but that's okay. And I put the little apple brad there right under the for you, and then there's just one more element to add on to this, and it's our little tag. So we're going to take this manila tag piece, and we're going to take our tag punch and punch out a tag. Then we're going to take the With Love and the ruby red ink and just stamp it in the center. This isn't quite in the center because I'm going to be trimming the tag anyway, so that's all right. So what we're going to do is trim this tag down to a more appropriate size. I just thought the other one was just a little bit too big. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. Now I'm going to use the small hole on my Crop-A-Dile as my hole punch because I just thought it was the perfect size for the twine to go through. So I've punched a little tiny hole there. Then I'm going to take some twine. So I'm going to go around 3 times. So 1. Before I adhere to the front of the card, I'm going to take my corner rounder and round the edges of this card here, just the bottom 2 edges. I'm going to take some square foam adhesive tape things. They're very much like the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. I got these ones at the dollar store and they come in like rectangular shapes. So I'll pop those on the back so the card stands out a little bit. And there we have our finished card for this week using a lot of back to school elements. We have the lunch bag here. We have the semblance of a chalkboard or a blackboard in the back, some twine, parentheses that you'd use in grammar, an apple, and it says a little something for you with love. So maybe you could find the time to create this card and pop it in your child's lunch bag, or maybe you could give it to the teacher, maybe the person that does your childcare, your babysitter, or your nanny, or perhaps somebody who's starting a new job in education this year. I'm sure you can find somebody to share this card with. And I hope your children enjoy this back to school time. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.